Children of the night, what music they make.
They're all gonna laugh at you!
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
What's up?
I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brain.
Welcome back to another amazing episode of Final Guys. Minus Hunter Shea, because he had a little herpes flare up last second, so he's not going to make it. Hopefully everything will be under control by next week. I'm Jason Brandt, joined as always by Tim Meyer.
Hey.
Jack Campisi.
Hodor.
And tonight we're reviewing The Boy Behind the Door. That was a nice little segue there. I appreciate that.
You know, I saw your Hodor tag like when I first signed in, and like I literally just got it now. Like it just clicked. I was like, "Why is he Hodor?" And then I was like, "Oh, Hodor."
It's layers.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm a little slow. Hey, look, I got some. Oh God, pumpkin.
Oh, dear
ale.
God.
That's good.
So that's if I'm a little slow tonight, it's only because I've been drinking like these all day.
I saw those at the store last weekend. I was like, "Oh, thank God."
It's that time of year. It's like Christmas.
They always sell out here by the first or second week of September, the pumpkins. It's just crazy.
Same.
So,
yeah, I it's like you got to stock up in August.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do that this weekend. I'm glad you brought that up. So yes, we're doing the Shudder exclusive, The Boy Behind the Door. But first, we'll do our random shtick. You guys have any news you need to drop? Anything coming up?
I just been breathing a sigh of relief that we don't have to hear Hunter Shea trying hard to shock everybody with his crazy ways. Like,
Yeah, what a slacker. Like, who misses a week of this show? Like, seriously.
Yeah,
Who does that?
it's crazy. Speaking of, I'm glad
our
our
miners and we sent him down.
yes, I'm glad our contract negotiations finally
Yes. Well,
wrapped up.
it was very intense, but I'm glad we got it all worked out.
Yeah. People were commenting the beard, and by people I mean Chad Lesky.
This is just like pure laziness because the last 3 weeks have been like the worst 3 weeks of my life in like the last 10 years. So it's just pure laziness. I'm going to shave it off probably tomorrow.
All right, that's exciting news. I'm glad we got the beard talk. I don't have any news on my book yet. There's been a whole story. I'm going to have to make a blog post about why my book hasn't come out yet, but it's soon. Yeah, I've had to learn Photoshop. It's gotten that bad.
Oh.
So, but I should have news hopefully by next week. And I am still doing weekly So Bad It's Goods. I've managed to do 5 in a row. So yay. People are really digging the Steven Seagal nonsense that I subject myself to. So if you want to watch me absolutely hate myself watching shitty movies and being too drunk, head over to my YouTube channel.
And who doesn't want to see that?
That's right. I agree. All right. How about some drinking words, Tim?
Sure. So, Jack, you have therapy, hedge, and cut. Hunter, who is absent tonight, has California collar, trunk, white rain, assuming that's some hair reference.
That's a hair product. That's a shampoo.
He's really digging deep on these shampoos.
Yeah.
It's quite amazing, actually.
White rain's like the lower priced.
It's very impressive. I have Taser Shining Key. I'm going to be saying all three of those in abundance tonight. Jason, you have acting, kids, budget, and then bonus old Shudder cop.
Very nice. He definitely knows our talking points.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, he's in our heads. It's kind of weird.
Oh, Lord. All right. I guess we're going to jump into some news. We have any there, Jack?
Some news. I had to scrape the bottom of the internet, but I found some.
I was going to say, what remakes and or cartoons are coming out?
Exactly.
Okay. Recently, we have been talking about Nicholas Hoult, who was going to be in that Renfield movie.
Yeah.
Well, he is going to be in another movie with our favorite girl, Anya Taylor-Joy, as well, called The Menu, which is a dark psychological horror comedy. Let's see, where's the focus on the world of eccentric culinary culture and tell the tale of a young couple who travel to a remote island for a restaurant with a few unusual specialties on the menu. That description doesn't say much to me, but I like most stuff that Anya Taylor-Joy is in. And so I thought I would tell you guys about this. But
Say that description was sparse.
I know. The reason I brought this up is because while doing this research, I found something else about that Renfield movie that changes my entire opinion of it. It turns out that's going to be a horror comedy too. It's not like a serious thing. So, it's a story about being Dracula's henchman and how shitty a job that is. And it's fun, extremely violent comedy because we've got a crutch and it's violence. So the whole thing with Robert Kirkman wrote it. Have you guys watched Invincible?
Yeah, I watched it.
No, that's the animated
superhero thing. Yeah, that is violent as anything, man. And
Kirkman's a good writer, so I mean,
yeah,
it could be interesting for sure.
That movie is as a serious take. I was like, well, what are they doing? As soon as I heard, it's a comedy, I'm like, oh, it's a comedy. I totally want to see that now.
That makes a little more sense. Okay.
So that's the good news.
So, all right. That's not bad.
The last piece of news. Remember last year, Blumhouse put out 4 movies in October. One of them had Sydney Sweeney.
Yep. They were on Prime.
July.
Yeah.
I only saw 2 out of the 4. Yeah, they were on Amazon. They're doing that again this year. So on October 1st, 2 are coming out. One's called Bingo Hell, and one is called Black as Night. One's about senior citizens to fight to protect their neighborhood from an evil force that's taken over the local bingo hall and is killing residents in a gruesome way.
That sounds amazing.
Black Knight is a girl is spent her summer battling vampires terrorizing her city of New Orleans. I'm curious.
I mean, vampire. You have me at vampires in New Orleans. That sounds amazing.
Then on October 8th, Madres and the Manor. The Madres, expecting their first child, Mexican-American couple moved to a migrant farming community in the 70s California where strange symptoms and terrifying visions threaten their new family. That doesn't do much for me.
Terrifying visions.
Yeah. What I like about you, Tim, is like anytime you watch a movie, you then like have a category for it where you're like, oh, I love terrifying visions, horror.
Yeah. I break it down to a sub category.
Horror movies where a kid rides a skateboard. Those are my favorite.
I love that kid skateboard horror. And The Manor. After suffering a mild stroke, Judith Albright reluctantly moves into a historic nursing home where she becomes convinced a supernatural force is killing the residents. I don't know. I like this. The first 2 sound good to me. The second 2, I need to see trailers.
I'll probably watch them all. So,
have you watched the first 4, Tim? Did you say?
No, I watched 2 of them. I think one was called Black Box or something.
Yeah,
I didn't see that one.
I watched that one, and it was like all right. It wasn't. I disliked it more than I liked it. And then I watched the one with was it Peter Skarsgård in one with like the girl,
The Lie?
I think it was The Lie. Yeah,
The Lie. That's got Joey. What's her name? Joey King. She was the girl.
Yeah, and didn't Peter Skarsgård play the dad?
Yeah.
Yeah. I watched that one too. I liked that one. That one was pretty good. I thought that was creative.
Yeah, I watched The Lie. I really liked it, and then I didn't watch any of the other 3. I don't know why.
Yeah, I didn't watch the
Sydney Sweeney one where she was like a piano concert at like a Juilliard kind of place, and I didn't like it as much as The Lie, but it was okay.
I don't know. No, I'd say I'm going to watch these, but I didn't watch the last 4. So
If we're looking for a main feature, at least we know we'll have a couple of new releases to.
that's
Totally.
true.
Fall back
December
on.
can be sparse, so that
It was October.
I like. Oh, October. Oh, I think
October is usually packed, but I mean, November wouldn't be a bad
So
idea.
we could save them for later in the year.
Yeah.
Well, unless all the good movies get held back like Doctor Sleep, and they're like, "How about this for the week after Halloween?"
Is Doctor Sleep supposed to be this year? I didn't even realize.
No, remember Doctor Sleep came out like after Halloween.
Oh,
and
that's
nobody-
right.
Yeah.
That's right. My brain is so fried from not sleeping. Is Doctor Sleep coming out?
Is Doctor Sleep coming out? The movie that came out 3 years
You're
ago?
Dr.
I was literally
Sleep.
thinking Doctor Strange. I was like, oh, that's
That came out like
next year.
6 years ago. Dude.
no, the new one that Sam Raimi.
Oh,
started.
yeah. Sure.
Oh, I hate
Multiverse
myself.
of Madness.
Are we ready to go into curation?
Yeah, go for it.
Shit show.
God damn.
We have such sights to show you.
All right, Tim. What turds are you going to tell us you like this week?
I only have good shit to talk about this week because I watched 3 weeks worth of stuff and like I didn't know what to pick. Like I literally had so many picks for this week and I couldn't decide what to do because all of it was so good, right? No, yesterday I decided to watch a show that just came on Netflix.
I'm out. Vanilla Faces alert.
Oh, well, we have to stop everything for that.
Yeah, it's the most important thing.
Most
What up,
important part of the
Jabroni
show. So yeah, I saw this show pop on Netflix that had a very interesting name that I've never heard of before. I didn't see any promos for it or anything. It's called Brand New Cherry Flavor. Heard of it?
I've
Seen it?
never heard of
Fuck me,
this.
never heard of this.
Okay. Well, you guys are going to want to put this on your watch list because it's fucking awesome.
On Netflix.
It's on Netflix. Yeah. It's a limited series. So it's like a once season show, 8 episodes. They're all about like 40 minutes long. I was kind of like not sold on it until I saw Nick and I think it's Antosca or Antosca. I don't know if you guys are familiar with his work, but he was a showrunner on this incredible series for sci-fi called Channel Zero.
Yeah, he crushed it with that show.
Dude, that's like one of my favorite shows ever.
I like how you introduced Channel Zero to us like we're a couple of newbies. There's this horror show that was done on this streaming service called Shudder, and it was titled Channel. Yeah, it's fucking Channel Zero, dude. We know.
I hate you.
That was the proper response.
So anyway, like I love Channel Zero so much. I'm so pissed off that show does not exist anymore. Because it was so good. And so as soon as I saw his name, I'm like, I literally have to watch this. This show is fucking strange. It is so weird. It's actually based off a novel that I've never heard of. It's got the same name. But yeah, it's basically about this woman who comes to Hollywood. She's a director. She directed this short film that only a few people have heard of, and this producer is interested in having her do like a feature film based on this short film. And they like the producer's like, oh, there's this one shot in the scene that looks so real, like how'd you do it type of thing. So it's kind of like a mysterious film. They don't show you the film, so you don't really know what's in it. And so basically in the first episode, he kind of screws her over with the contract and like cuts her out of directing the film and wants to hire like a name to do it. And so she then gets pissed off and kind of goes like on a revenge kick and enlists the help of a witch.
As you do.
Who's played by Catherine Keener, who's fucking amazing in everything she does. And she also kills it in this. Like, she's so good. And this show is outrageous, dude. The stuff that happens in this is just like, it's incredible. I can't believe Netflix actually like made this. Like, it is so crazy. Like, there's people puking up kittens, and like there's weird body horror, like with people like has like holes in their body, and there's like a love scene with like a hole in the body that's not. I don't want to get too in detail with it. It's fucking strange. It's like the strangest shit, but it's awesome. So it's like a mixture. Like the way I kind of pitch it, it's like a Coen's brother movie if like David Lynch rewrote it. and then it was directed by like David Cronenberg. Like that's the only way I can kind of like describe it. It's just it's so weird and bizarre, and it's so many different genres, but it's just all types of fantastic.
How many episodes?
8. It's only 8 episodes, limited.
The sound of that.
There's no season 2 from what I understand. It's just a limited series. It has a beginning and ending, and yeah, man, I was impressed. I binge watched it. I watched the first 2 episodes, and I'm like, I have to finish watching this the rest of the day. I didn't do anything else. So
are they 40-minute episodes?
Yeah, they're like 45, 50-minute episodes. They're all under an hour. So
should we do it in like September or something? Like,
I mean, if you want to, I think
is it worth it?
What did Hunter think of it? I know weren't you and him texted about this?
I think like on Twitter, I think he said his wife said she started watching it and she said it looked crummy. I thought it looked pretty amazing. It has like the same kind of like look and aesthetic as Channel Zero does. Like it's the same like visual aspect. So if you liked the visuals in Channel Zero, I think you're definitely going to dig this.
If Hunter's wife didn't like it, I'm probably going to love it.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Like her track record for liking and not liking stuff isn't good. So, yeah, I don't know. It's so good. I would totally talk about it because there's a lot to like unpack, and it's very layered, and it's about Hollywood and the film industry too, a little bit, and that whole like what lens you'll go through to become successful, which is very I think
Starry
universal
Eyes kind of thing.
Kind of like Starry Eyes. It's got a Starry Eyes vibe to it, but it's more of like it's got a very noir like feel to it, which is kind of like where the Coen brothers type of like Big Lebowski. It has like some Big Lebowski vibes running through there as well. But yeah, and there's actually like references to Channel Zero in it, which I thought was kind of interesting. Cool. Like I don't know, it's fantastic. I really recommend it. And as far as like every week we're like Netflix is kind of like weird with what they put out. Like sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not good at all.
Yeah.
What's your favorite season of Channel Zero?
I'm a huge fan of the Butcher Block one with Rutger Hauer. Like I fucking love that. Probably followed closely by I don't know. I feel like No End House and the Dream Door are kind of like even to me.
Yeah, I really liked all of them, to be honest. I
really like all of them too.
I like the first season with the puppets.
I like that one too. That one was creepy. I don't know why, but like I felt like it lagged a little bit in like the middle of that one, and the other ones I feel like I was more invested in. But yeah, dude, Butcher Block is like the best. I love that so much. And Rutger Hauer is just such a fucking nut job in that.
In everything.
In everything, yeah, but he's especially crazy in that.
All right, Jack, what you watch?
All right. I wanted to play a game, so I watched Spiral, the new Saw movie with Chris Rock. Tim, you saw this, right?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
I thought you saw this.
Mm-mm.
This movie is a mess.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Dude, I'm so glad we didn't pick this.
I heard positive things about it, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Watch it. You might love it.
I might.
You.
I do like the Saw movie, so it already has that going for me.
Look, I only saw like the first Saw movie, maybe the second one. So I have no idea how this fits into what Saw movies are like lately. But like, you get Sam Jackson and Chris Rock, so there's some familiar faces in this. But I don't know how else to say it. It's just a mess. Like it's clumsy. It's heavy-handed. It's I figured stuff out ahead of time. This movie's a mess to me. So I'd be curious to see what other people think of it.
I so do not want to watch this.
I
heard not good things. It's in the Saw franchise, which I couldn't give a shit about. I just see him. It looks like he's doing some kind of like 80s tough guy routine every time I see an image of him.
It's so he's a cop and he's got some troubled past stuff. Samuel Jackson's his father, who's a cop with some history too, and then this copycat, whatever Saw copycat Jigsaw copycat shows up, and so him and his partner in these pictures go into it, and his father gets involved into it, and there's some Saw-like murders and stuff like that, and the whole thing unravels and all that, and just it's really clunky, and I just didn't float my boat, dog.
I'm so glad we didn't do this. I can't even tell you.
I can't wait for look, Tim, watch it and tell me if you liked it, because again, maybe I'm just not a Saw person.
Yeah. I was hoping it would come on like HBO Max or something so I could watch it, but it's like taking forever to get to streaming.
No one in the chat apparently is impressed with the movie, or at least the trailer. I didn't even watch a trailer, and I just heard Saw. Chris Rock came up with the idea. I was like, that's a no.
It's a mess. It is a mess.
I
was very surprised at how not good it was. Like, because I just thought that Chris Rock, they'd take a fresh take on it, and and it didn't fire on any cylinder for me at all.
Wow. Glad I didn't watch it.
I almost wish that I had watched that at like Hunter's house with a few drinks in us and just like laughed at it. That would have been a better time.
Well, speaking of things I expected to laugh at, I started a new series. I have never seen any of the Jaws movies except the first one.
What, dude? Really? What is wrong with you?
I've never watched the other. I'm like, how is there a sequel to Jaws? Like,
what the hell is wrong with you?
No, I had seen clips of the third one because that was on cable incessantly in the 90s. So I'd seen the end of it and a couple of the shittier segments.
I saw that in the theater in 3D.
There's nothing shitty about the third movie.
So I've never seen Jaws 2. I will say I did not watch Jaws 1 because I watched it over the summer. I watch it all the time. It's a legend. I don't need to rewatch it. I have damn near every frame of that movie memorized. It's a masterpiece. If you haven't seen it in a while, what are you doing?
I just watched it last week, actually.
It's amazing. I mean, there's nothing you could change.
Nope. It's perfect. Perfect
People
movie.
who say the shark doesn't look real, I still think it looks awesome.
It holds up so well. In fact, like I was like looking for like flaws in it, and like it's still just so good, and so I don't know. I buy it every time, even though I know it's fake.
It's my favorite. It's my favorite movie.
There you go. So if you want to talk about a shark not looking great, that's Jaws 2. The shark looks a lot worse in Jaws 2 than it does in Jaws 1. Oh, yeah. It's not trash, but it is a big step down. I will say, though, this movie did not suck as much as I expected it to. It's not great. I don't even know if it's good.
I think it's good.
But I didn't hate it. I was like watching it. I don't want to say I was impressed because basically everything that makes the first Jaws great is absent, filmmaking wise, is absent from this. They show the shark right away. They show a shitload of it. But
it eats a helicopter.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of insane stuff in this. But it's still all right. Like, is it Roy Schneider? Scheider. He is great in this. I read afterwards that he did not want to be in it at all, but you couldn't tell by his performance because he kills it. The shark's cousin or something comes back. They don't really explain what happens. They're just like, oh, maybe it sent out a signal and another one came calling, and then it's just sharks eating people. That's literally the story.
I spent a lot of time with those dumb kids on the.
Yeah. I like that part.
Sailboats.
Oh, it should have been on Homeboy here the whole time. Scheider, he was so good. The kids, particularly the teenage girl who screams incessantly for the last third of the movie.
That's
Mother of God.
I love
that
it.
Sound is etched in my mind.
That scene where her boyfriend gets it, though, is probably the best scene in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I was surprised. I expected a lot more mayhem from the shark. I expected it to kill a lot more people. Body count wasn't as high as expected, but again, pretty fun. The end, the way they kill the shark is... I didn't know how they would do it, so I should have seen that coming. It's stupid, but it's fun. It's kind of fits with the rest of the movie.
I
Turn your
can't
brain
believe
off.
you've never seen this movie.
Yeah, that's
I
wild.
Never wanted to see it because who gives a shit? But I will say, after reading it or after watching it, I was reading up. Apparently, Spielberg was going to do it,
Mhm.
but they had to wait one more year, and the studio was like,
Close Encounters.
they were like,
Him and
nah,
Dreyfuss.
we don't want to wait for Spielberg. Like,
Yeah.
No.
And-
So what I heard was that him and Dreyfuss both were doing Close Encounters, so they weren't available, and that he actually wanted to do Jaws 2, but he wanted to do Quint's story with
Yes,
the
exactly.
Indianapolis.
Yeah.
But they the studio wanted the movie faster, so they wouldn't wait for him.
Yep, exactly.
And Dreyfuss
wow.
was supposed to be in it too, but he said that he wasn't going to do it if Spielberg wasn't directing it, so he backed out.
I mean, that's not the wrong move.
No.
But having said that, I'll probably never watch this movie again, but it was significantly better than I thought it would be. You know, but I can't really ask for more of these series. I haven't done a series now in like 6 weeks, 8 weeks.
You go from like the most quotable movie ever to a movie with like no memorable quotes.
It's very true. Not even really memorable moments in this, except the helicopter and
The helicopter,
and
the wire.
the cable. Those are the two.
Oh,
that
yeah, at
that
the
will
end
stick with me.
With the cable.
Also, Roy Scheider shooting a gun into the ocean randomly was pretty hilarious. As people are still coming out of the water.
When Hendrix becomes like the second highest billed person, the deputy guy, like you know you're kind of scraping there.
Yeah, but
what is?
Yeah,
I was gonna say, what does Roy Schneider say like after he kills the shark at the end? He has like the corniest like line. I totally forget what it is.
He actually says "say ah" when it's like coming up to the cable.
He says something else like I don't remember what it is. I have to look it up and I'll get back to you on it. But it's the most eye rolling like quote I've ever heard in my life.
So I did the Jaws ride when it was the original Jaws ride, and then at Universal Studios, and then they had another one, and when they updated it, it was they had the ending of Jaws 2 where the shark comes up to the boat, but it gets the cable and it gets electrocuted in front of your boat.
That's cool.
That was kind of cool. That was cooler than anything in the movie.
Yeah, so as far as sequels go to classic horror movies, this is probably one of the better second ones, which isn't saying much. But it's such a massive drop off from the first one. I mean, it's in like this weird no man's land where it's like I don't know why I'd watch it again, even though I'll watch a Friday the 13th movie or another Nightmare on Elm Street movie that's probably not as good as this several more times, and I'll never revisit this. But
there's no charisma to this movie. I don't know.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't love it, but it wasn't as bad as I thought. I thought I was expecting Jaws 3. You know, that's Jaws Revenge, and it didn't go that far. All right, Tim, what do you got?
I'm watching the end of Jaws 2, trying to figure out what that clip is, but I'll get back to you on that. All right, so I wanted to watch something that was a little bit trippy. I wanted to have a psychedelic experience without taking any drugs. So I decided to watch Altered States.
Oh man,
going way back.
Who's in that? Is it William Hurt in that?
William Hurt, yeah. This is a 1980 flick starring William Hurt, and he plays a psychophysiologist who experiments with psychedelic hallucinatory drugs inside like a sensory deprivation tank. So he like locks himself in like this tank, and
so he's Joe Rogan.
Essentially, yeah. And takes like all these psychedelic drugs and totally trips out because he believes that through these visions he can contact like a primitive like force within himself and like tap into like the secrets of life by turning into like basically one of the first humans ever.
Wow, he is Joe Rogan.
This movie is so crazy. I was kind of surprised because there's like a lot of like technical jargon and like scientific jargon in it that's almost like, have you guys ever seen Primer? That movie,
yeah, that's one with all the math, right?
Yeah, with like it's very time travel, and like there's just a lot of scientific jargon going on, and like it's very hard to follow. Even like it's not hard to follow, but you don't understand anything that people are saying unless
it's like a different language. Yeah,
it's essentially a different language, and there's a lot of that going on in this, which I was actually surprised that they like included all this, and it seems very intelligent, but I don't know if any of the science and stuff like adds up because I'm too stupid to understand. Yeah, this movie is fucking weird. So like he goes into like this tank, and he takes drugs, and he starts having like these crazy visions, and the special effects aren't great because it's 1980, and they're like these very psychedelic trippy stuff, and but there are some cool shots like in this scene, like he goes to another country to find like this certain drug that he wants to use in his experiments, and like some of the scenes are great in that, and it's just weird and trippy. And then like the second half of the movie is like he turns into like this ape creature and starts like going through the streets and like killing people, and it's like a completely different movie from the first half of the movie. It's wild. It's just it's wild.
This is where I first became aware of sensory deprivation tanks.
Yeah.
This is one I'd always heard of, and I feel like I used to see it at the store, but I never watched it.
It's worth watching. It's very interesting.
I saw it in the 80s. I just remember flashes of it.
And William Hurt's great in it. Drew Barrymore's in it as like a 4-year-old. Yeah, she's like 4 years old in it, and she's just like a little kid. She plays his daughter, and like there's also like this cool like relationship stuff that's going on through it. So and I'm always interested when movies do this, where the movie spans over like 20 years, and it's him, and he meets his wife in college and marries her, and then like 10 years pass, and like they go through problems because of like what he's doing. He kind of basically becomes obsessed with his work, and the marriage kind of crumbles and falls apart. So there's like that storyline mixed in with like all this other crazy stuff in it. I don't know, it's worth watching if you've never seen it before. I think I paid to watch it on Prime. I think it was like $4 or something. I'd probably wait until you can find it for free, but I'm glad I watched it. I'm a huge William Hurt fan too, so it was cool to see him in something that was like where he was like super young, and he was like, I think he was like 30 years old.
Huh. So. I hadn't even thought of this movie in 20 years.
Yeah, it's not one that a lot of people mention, and like I was just searching like psychedelic horror films because I wanted to.
Every time I hear the term of sensory deprivation tank, I think of the title of this movie every single time.
Yeah, it's like the main part of the movie. Yeah, so it's crazy. It's a crazy movie.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'll have to try and check that out sometime. Jack.
All right. There was this werewolf movie. When the trailer for Werewolves Within came out, there was another trailer for another werewolf movie called Bloodthirsty that also came out, and I never got around to renting it, and then it popped up on Shudder.
I watched this a month ago. I think I reviewed it on this podcast.
That's why I recognize the name.
Either I was here and I don't remember you talking about it, or I wasn't here that week.
You probably just weren't paying attention when I talk, which is pretty standard.
Yep.
This movie is about a girl who's a singer, and she goes to record a follow-up album with this shady producer with a checkered past, up in this retreat in the woods kind of place. And she brings her girlfriend with her, and she's a vegan. And then he starts working with her, and he starts like getting through to her, and then suddenly he's like tempting her with his steak and stuff like that, and she's having visions that she's turning into a wolf even before she goes to this, and suddenly there's like werewolfy things happening, but really not till towards the end for the most part. Tim, I'd love to refresh my memory on what you thought about this. I didn't necessarily think this was a bad movie, but this movie didn't do it for me. It didn't really float my boat. I was kind of bored and waiting for something better to happen. So
Yeah, I thought it was average. From what I remember of it, it was an interesting premise. I like the relationship between the two girlfriends, and I thought the guy who played like the record producer was really good in his role. But like, yeah, you knew he was what he was. He was like the second she landed there, like you knew what was going to happen. So it was kind of predictable. I found the movie itself, like how it got made, was like really interesting. Like I think it was written by a pop star, which was pretty cool. And I think she did all the music and stuff for it, which I found interesting. There's a pop star I've never heard of before, but because I don't really listen to too much pop music. Besides, like Lady Gaga.
As a werewolf movie, didn't do much for me.
No,
It
yeah,
didn't have any kind of clever dialogue to me. Like I thought it was slow, and the relationships and stuff, like none of it was grabbing me to be like, oh, I'm interested in what's going on with these people. I was never really engaged with it. So again, somebody else might. It's on Shudder. It's worth a watch. It's not terrible or anything, but it was kind of disposable. I watched it, and it didn't really do much for me, and I moved on to the next thing. But I'm glad I watched it, and it had some werewolf stuff at the end. So, I was just like, that was all right, and moved on. But I'm kind of glad, like when it first came out, I was like, ooh, werewolf movie.
Yeah,
I should pay-per-view this. I'm glad I waited for Shudder.
It's weird because I remember it came out, like we were talking about werewolf movies on this show, and like how we need more of them. And then like literally that movie came out, and like 4 other werewolf movies dropped. And I think Werewolves Within, like the trailer dropped for that too. So it was like getting all these fucking werewolf movies all of a sudden. It's crazy. I'm into it.
I do always complain about that, but I still have yet to watch one that's blown my skirt up. But I haven't seen this one.
Werewolves Within is a much better use of your time than this movie.
Okay, all right, that puts it in position. What's the word? Focus? I don't know, whatever. Focus. My brain's not working. I'm going to talk about Jaws 3D.
Oh, I'm going to have myself some more pumpkin.
Look, I'm wearing my Jaws hat, by the way.
Oh, very nice. You want to send me one of those pumpkins? I could use one right about now.
I've only got a couple left, bro, and I think they're mine.
Son of a bitch. They're like $5 too, a bottle. So freaking expensive. They had one a couple years ago called the Rum King, where it was pumpkin, but they let it sit in rum barrels for like 6 months or a year. It was amazing.
Don't they have one called like the Warlock too, which is like another like weird ass like imperial mixed with like, is it bourbon?
I don't remember. I remember
Hunter
liking
that
it.
one.
I don't think it's as good as pumpkin, but it's good.
Yeah. Dennis
Quaid.
Quaid.
So Jaws 3D, first of all, has an incredible cast. Dennis Quaid, Louis Gossett Jr., Leah Thompson, she's a 10 in this movie. It's just, I was blown away at this cast. The movie's very ridiculous. Like, very, very ridiculous.
It's amazing. It's one of my favorite movies to watch. It's like, like when Shawshank Redemption comes on television, it's like you can't do anything for the rest of your afternoon, but you have to watch Shawshank Redemption.
Yep.
Jaws 3D is that movie for me. Like anytime it's on AMC, I have to drop everything and fucking watch it.
Yeah, I'm kind of like that too. I have a Jaws 3D shirt.
It's like weird because it's not. I mean, Jason will talk about it, but it's not a good movie. But it's so watchable.
Because unlike Jaws 2, this movie has like a memorable stuff, like the shark that looks like a submarine floating
coming towards.
The the filmmaking with this and Shawshank are right on par. I mean, they're basically the same movie.
Exactly. I mean, how this wasn't nominated for an Academy Award, one will never know.
Lou Gossett Jr. in this blows Morgan Freeman away.
Louis Gossett Jr. is amazing and everything.
Oh, look at that. Look at that.
As this movie starts, the 2 friends who I find out are brothers are talking about, how one of them's afraid of the water and sharks. Like, what? Wait a minute. Are you telling me these are the 2 kids from the second movie?
The Brody brothers.
Like, oh my God. So these guys are getting attacked by a giant shark while they're in Florida now? Okay. All right. So this movie is actually fairly well made except for every scene when there's a shark in it. Then it is just the worst crap you've ever seen. The shark effects are so hilarious.
There it
this
is.
one right here.
Yes.
Everyone has seen this, I think. I mean, I think it's because they're going for the 3D effect so much that so much of this looks terrible. When they're in a submarine at one point, it's like, guys, for the love of Christ, how did this get released in the theater? The one brother, his character is that he's afraid of the water and that he wants to bang Leah Thompson. That's all he does. He spends the whole movie trying to sleep with her. And it's hilarious.
And
I
he's
actually
like the
agree with
little
you guys.
Muffin Man kid, all grown up.
What's that?
He's the Muffin Man kid from the first movie, all grown up.
I forgot what I was going to say about this. I do agree with you guys. The last act of this in particular is very watchable because it is bad. Like it's bad, but it's fun.
It's just fun. It's just a fun movie.
Even this scene here where the shark is chasing these women who are water skiing,
It's like
they fall down and the shark is just not there anymore. It was like 5 feet behind them. It's just the whole movie is just nuts.
I gotta watch this now. The fact that you brought this to my attention again, I have to watch it.
Oh, first of all, the shark gets huge by the end of the movie. It looks like it just keeps getting larger and larger and larger to the point where it swallows a guy whole and he's still alive, like in its throat, and it's just like gumming him to death.
It's like leveling up through the entire movie.
What's the name of the two dolphins?
Mandy and shit. That's a good question.
Bess Armstrong just screaming their names over and over again in that movie.
Oh god, at the end, it's so annoying. I wonder if they're credited the dolphins.
The bounty hunter guy or whatever who's going for the shark and his little cohort. That's comedic with those two. The way the guy's like freaking out when the other guy's trapped in the thing.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I was just watching it just in awe that one, it has this cast, and two, that this got made by a major studio and they put money into this and it turned a profit. Like it's just
hell yeah, it did. 3D, dude. That was like the thing in that time.
It's shockingly bad with the sharks in it. But like I said, the stuff with just the people, it looks good. The acting's good. Like the story's not the worst thing. It's just the way it's done is hilarious. And apparently Richard Matheson, this was partially his story idea, and he wrote a draft of the script.
Did he?
Yeah.
Good for him.
Is interesting. But this is the one I've seen clips from. I don't know that I've ever seen clips from Jaws of Revenge. I'm not sure.
Dude,
you've never seen that either?
Nope.
Wait till you watch Jaws of Revenge, dude. You're in for a treat.
So I've heard it's in the so bad it's good territory.
Oh,
is
yeah.
that right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, I'm recording some this weekend. Maybe I should save it for that and watch it with a buddy.
The
Might
shark
be
roars in that one.
Sold. I'll see if I can get him to watch it. All right. Yeah. So, wow, this was a massive drop off from 2, but I enjoyed watching this significantly more than I enjoyed watching 2. I could see throwing the last 30 minutes of this on again with somebody and being like, watch this shit. Like, this is just when the shark is slowly approaching the glass wall at the end of the underwater facility, and everyone's screaming, and it's just slowly moving and the glass shatters.
I love it. That's my favorite. That's so good.
The 3D effect when the shark explodes too, and you see its jaws come twirling up in 3D and stop in front of the camera. It's like, who was on coke when they thought this was a good idea? And I'm glad they were. It's good stuff.
They did all the coke that day.
All of it. All right, Tim.
I think Jaws 3 is my favorite of all the sequels.
I always agree, and like people are like, no, 2 is the best. I mean, like, yeah, 2 is a better movie, but I had more fun
it's
watching
a better
3.
movie, but it's not as entertaining.
No, not as entertaining as 3. 3 is the most entertaining out of all of them.
Agreed so far, but I still have to do 4. You shall see.
It's an experience. I just have a quick book rec. I'm just gonna throw out there. I read "Till We Become Monsters" by Amanda Headley. I did a signing with her back in July, and I picked this up because it's a pretty interesting premise. It's about two brothers who their grandmother was killed, and one of the brothers like blames the other brother for it, and there's kind of like animosity between them. And then you flash forward to in the future, and then the two brothers go on like this hunting trip in the mountains with their father, and there's like this Wendigo spirit monster thing that kind of goes through it all. I don't want to give too much away because it's a very cool novel. It's actually her first novel, and while reading it, I was very surprised that it was her first novel because it's written so well. But yeah, definitely check that book out.
Nice. Cover looks cool. I like the idea.
Yeah, it's awesome.
What was her name again?
Amanda Headley.
Amanda Headley. All right. I'll try to check that out.
Good stuff.
All right, I'll go quick here. Another Shudder movie I found, Messiah of Evil from 1973. I see the cover and I'm like, I have been aware of this movie from video stores and things like that, but I don't know if I've ever seen it because I've seen so many friggin' horror movies like this. So one day I kind of bookmarked it and I was like, all right, I'm going to check this out today. So this is about a young woman who goes to this like seaside town in California, I think, looking for her father. And it turns out there's like this weird, I don't even know what the hell to call it, undead cult that
undead cult, like there's stuff going on, and then all of a sudden like this woman goes to a supermarket, and this pack of, I don't know if there's zombies or vampires, that woman who's I guess is like a Price is Right model, she gets attacked by this like pack of vampires, but they're not quite, they don't have fangs and stuff, so they're kind of, it's almost like, I don't know, Omega Man kind of vampires, and that they're not albinos, but they're running around. They're undefined flesh eaters of some kind, and they only attack a couple of times. So it's kind of this slow movie. It's got a little bit of an aesthetic of a giallo movie, and definitely like a 70s slasher movie kind of aesthetic to it. This isn't the greatest movie I ever saw, but I was happy. Like I had that retro feel of like, oh, this reminds me of like we'd go rent 2 movies at the video store, and if this was the second one we watched, I probably would have fallen asleep or like been like let down because the vampires weren't good enough for me. But I still enjoyed watching it. It was like thank you, Shudder. I got to watch an old movie I hadn't seen yet. I know there are other people though that like feel like this is a masterpiece kind of thing or some kind of classic. I just got a kick out of it. So if you're looking for a 70s horror movie throwback, this is worth a watch, like on a Saturday afternoon or something like that. Is it Italian?
It is not Italian, but it looks a little bit like.
The title too has an Italian.
Yeah, it might be Italian. I don't know, but it's in English and it's not dubbed.
Shudder's been going hard with the older movies lately. I wonder if it's because there are so many new releases, but they've got everything on there.
Yeah, they've been putting out some quality stuff on there too.
Chad saw it too. Chad, did you like it? Type your answer.
And do it fast so there's no silence.
All right. Well, while we're waiting on him to slowly type.
He said he dug it. He said it reminded him a lot of giallo stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
It's worth checking out. It's worth checking out, but like,
I'll check it out.
It's not like Evil Dead level of 70s horror movie or anything like that.
Yeah, nothing is.
Yeah.
All right. So on Friday the 13th, I did not have time to watch a full length Friday the 13th movie as I always do, which I know it felt sacrilegious.
I watched the first 2.
So did Hunter.
Oh yeah, that's right. He did have him on the list. So I got to watch Jason Rising, a Friday the 13th fan film, which
good. You watched that.
Yes. Thank you to who recommended that? Was it Dan on Twitter? I think so.
I think so. I didn't have a chance to watch it.
I saw that and I was like, hey, this is less than an hour. I can squeeze this in. And you know what? This is pretty damn good. It's like the Never Hide Again, or what was that called that came out a year or two ago? The other fan film, I think Darcy the Mail Girl was in it. And
Oh, I never saw that either.
it's I mean, look, this is the best Friday the 13th we're gonna get for God knows how long. These just aren't going to come out for freaking ever the way these court cases are going. So wow, I forgot about that mustache. So these convicts escape from jail and they go running through the chained up, boarded off Camp Crystal Lake because of what Jason did there years ago. What do you know? The headless body of Mrs. Voorhees reanimates from the grave. To kill one of them, two of them, I don't remember. Then goes and gets Jason, digs him up, and reanimates him. So Jason is rampaging as the headless body of Mrs. Voorhees is also walking around. What more can you ask for in a fan film?
You had me at headless Jason's mother.
Yeah. So I don't need to say any more. I mean, if you don't want to watch it now, we probably can't be friends.
Is it long?
It's less than an hour.
Oh, I'll check it out. Where can you watch it?
It's on YouTube for free.
Shit.
Link is in the show notes.
I'm gonna check that out, dude.
It's pretty fun. There's a surprise appearance at the end, just like, is it Never Hide Again? What the hell was that called? That's gonna bother me.
I think I know which one you're talking about.
Was that the one in the wintertime? There was a fan-made Jason movie that was like all in the winter.
No, because
No.
Darcy had like a topless lesbian scene in this, so I don't think that would have been in the
What's
snow.
that?
And I think it was outside. And it's on YouTube. Like, yeah.
Wait,
so.
let me just take a sip of water and tell me that again.
I saw Jack's whole camera shit shake as he said that, like something hard hit the table and rocked his computer.
Oh wow, that was very Hunter Shea of you. Nice.
Someone's got to do it. Someone's got to do it if he's not here.
So anyway, worth a watch. Great job to everyone involved. I tell you what, the quality of the cameras in the last few years have come up so much that these fan films look amazing.
Oh yeah. Have you ever watched like any of the Batman fan films? Like those things are mind blowing. Like there's one, I think it's like Batman versus Alien, dude. It's like,
that's awesome.
Yeah, Batman versus the Predator.
Or Predator, yeah, dude. Yeah. It's so fucking good.
Now, did you ever see the one called Grayson? That's like just a trailer for a movie about Batman's dead and Dick Grayson. That I watched that like 1,000 times.
It's so good. Like some of them are so creative and like better than, quite frankly, some of the mainstream films that get made. It's just like, why can't we get that?
Absolutely. So check it out. It's the best Friday you're gonna get for God knows how long.
Until LeBron James brings it back, baby. I can't wait till he like just settles that court case and makes that movie, because you're gonna hate everything about it. And
that'll be the end of Final, guys. I'll be like, nope, not watching this.
We're doing it.
You hear Dennis Rodman ripping on LeBron the other day? He was saying that he sucks and he could have covered him. Like people don't play him right, and he's like, Scottie Pippen would have ate him alive.
Oh, I'm sure.
To me, like
it's a totally different game than it was in like the mid '90s. But yeah, Robin's probably right.
He is correct. I didn't even hear it, but he's correct. Anything people say about LeBron that's negative, I agree with.
Hey,
I like LeBron though.
All right. Anybody have anything else?
Nope. Let's go.
Let's go.
Do this.
You like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite scary movie?
I don't know.
You have to have a favorite. What comes to mind?
Do you have a little description for us, Jackie?
You know, I don't know if describing this movie warrants any kind of wacky voice, because
no, probably not.
You should just say Hodor and move on.
Hodor. Hold the door. Two best friends. I don't even know how old they are. 13?
12, I think they said.
After their baseball game, they're like in a wooded park having a catch, and they get kidnapped, thrown in a trunk, and taken off to some house out in the middle of nowhere, where One of the kids is taken out of the trunk. The other is left in the trunk and is imprisoned in a room in the house. The other kid escapes, but instead of taking off, he hears his friend and decides he's going to go back for him. And just ratchet it up from there.
Yep. Well done. What did you think?
I thought this movie was great. I'd heard good things about it. I can't wait to talk to you about it because there was a couple of moments in it that I'm really curious to see what you guys thought of it. But overall, especially coming off the heels of the Megan Fox movie, the Megan Fox movie had kind of this, I don't know, Hollywood sheen to it or something like that. I don't know.
It was glossy. This was like so much more intense and personal. And then it took a couple of turns that I didn't expect. So not a perfect movie, but very enjoyable and very tense. All right. What you think, Tim?
Yeah, I thought it was okay. It was pretty intense. I thought the kids did a phenomenal job, and when you're making a movie with kids in it, a lot of it kind of hinges on how well those kids perform their roles, and I thought they nailed it. I thought both of them did a phenomenal job. I will get into the spoilers later, but I was excited to see the one lady from True Blood in there because I think she's like a really good actress. And she makes an appearance in it. Yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was really dark, not just in subject matter, but like I thought the film looked dark. There was like a lot of times I was like trying to like adjust the brightness on my screen because like I couldn't like see what was happening. But
really,
yeah, I don't know. It looked really dark to me for some reason. But I watched it on a laptop, so I don't know if that had something to do with it. But yeah, I thought it was good. It's got a super high rating on like Rotten Tomatoes. I think it's got like 97%, which is like
that's really high,
insanely high. Yeah, I think like the audience score is like 80. But that's also still pretty high. I just don't know if they have enough, reviews or whatever. But yeah, I thought it was good. Like, I wasn't like blown away by it, but I thought it was good. I enjoyed it.
I also really liked this movie. I thought it was intense as hell, like almost the whole time, and it just got more intense as it went. I thought the way it was shot and everything, that all worked. I thought the acting by the kids was good for the most part. The one kid was doing a lot of Family Guy, like like he was doing a lot of that. But otherwise, I thought just the way they didn't show the villain's face for a long time, I thought that was done well. And just a small little movie. I really dug it. I can see some people not liking it as much because I think a lot of it's going to hinge on whether you can forgive the kids doing stupid shit because they're kids. Like, and the one kid in particular makes a lot of really horrible decisions.
Yeah.
But I was just like, when I was 12, I was an idiot. I don't know that I would have been grabbing a knife blade with my hands, but I would have done stupid stuff too. So I could see some people not appreciating that, but I was able to just say, they're young, they're stupid, they're going to do stupid shit. But I really liked it. Quite enjoyable.
Tim, I actually think if you get a chance to watch it on a big screen, because there was several scenes, especially in the house with hallways and the kid hiding and stuff like that, that it kind of lends itself to a bigger screen.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely should have. I didn't. I was watching it while I was working, so I had to watch it on the laptop. But like I said,
yeah, you're not here, but I'm saying this one I feel like I will watch again sometime.
Yeah, I don't know if I would. I don't know if I would ever watch it again.
Really, this is one I feel like I would show to a few people I think would appreciate it.
Yeah,
yeah, particularly when the one kid is hiding a lot in the first, I don't know, third. There's a lot of tense moments there and really cool camera work where you're just seeing feet or hearing the insanity on this TV, whatever the hell's going on in that program. I thought there were really cool moments like that. And I don't know if it's just because it's kids in peril, but so there were some moments I was like, Jesus, this is like really kind of getting to me a little bit.
Yeah.
And, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
In the Megan, did you see the Megan Fox movie that we?
I did watch it in prep for the show, but I couldn't make the show. But
so in that there was definitely times where you kind of roll your eyes and like, okay, that's ridiculous that she couldn't be out in the snow and bare feet for that long, or that would have knocked her the hell out, or whatever.
Yeah,
and there was a few little moments like that happens in all these kinds of movies that.
Like you need like a higher suspension of belief.
Yeah, sometimes somebody just gets, you're like, that would have hurt them way more than what how they're acting now, or whatever. And in spoilers, I'll point out a couple, but that never derailed me in this movie. I had paused a couple of times. I was like, okay, I'll allow it.
Yeah, same. If you're, I'm like, okay, it's still going. This is fine. I can deal with it. Yeah.
I will say, like, I really appreciated like the storytelling in this, and I felt like it was a lot of these like intense kind of like claustrophobic movies. They do a lot of like telling more than showing, and like this was like very like, I don't know, they focused on certain things. Especially towards the end of the movie, they don't like come out and tell you like what's happening, especially with the relationship like between the kids. They like show you what's happening on screen, which I thought was really cool. And when we get into spoilers, I'll talk about that specifically, like the end scene and like some of the stuff that they do visually that I thought was a good way of telling the story versus just like having something with a lot of dialogue in it.
Yeah, definitely not a lot of dialogue in this.
No.
Which I think lent to it. Sorry, go ahead.
No. The other thing is that having it be kids, the peril, like the stakes went up so much.
For sure.
And the nature of the people, of the bad guys, you're so much more terrified of them than like your standard, guys breaking into a house. You're just
right.
And that really helped with the atmosphere of this movie. And you're right, Tim. The two kids, their acting, they could have sunk this thing.
Absolutely.
I wanted to say this is done by the same guys that did the Gin.
Yeah, that kid, the kid who gets locked up, he was the kid in the Gin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the two directors and also the same guys who wrote it, they're the same that did that. Justin Powell and David Charboner. I don't know.
Charboner? Is that what you said?
Charbonnier, I don't know.
Chard Boner
from the mountains. We're going Charboner. These guys, I mean, that's two good movies in what, 3 months or something? I don't.
Yeah, where they shoot them like simultaneously or something.
Seriously, I would love to hear what the budget of these is, because these are very small, but they're doing a hell of a job making them intense, considering both of these were in just one location.
Well, this was actually made prior to the Gin. According to
really?
IMDb. Yeah, I mean, this has a 2020 release date on it, and the Gin has a 2021 release date on it. So looks like it was probably shot maybe 2019 or something. But yeah, like I said, they had a budget though. I mean, they had the lady from True Blood in it, which I thought was cool.
These guys have a good track record. If these are your first two movies with limited budgets, I mean, a lot of people don't have two movies of this caliber in their entire catalog.
Not. Yeah, I was really impressed. They definitely are stretching $1, and I don't know, they just know how to shoot something in a small space that makes it intense. I dig it.
I definitely want to get the spoilers because there's a big scene I want to talk to you guys about.
Let's do it.
Anything else? So we all recommend this to the non-spoiler crowd?
Yeah, it's on Shudder. If you have a Shudder subscription, it's totally worth checking out.
Okay. Take off if you haven't seen this movie, and or if you don't care about spoilers, hang out because we're gonna spoil it now for you.
Yeah.
Okay, Jason, especially you, because I was thinking about you when I watched this scene.
Oh Lord.
There's like a shot-for-shot remake of the Shining bathroom door scene.
I rolled my eyes so hard when that was happening. I was like, why would you do that?
That was
But
way too much.
It was so deliberate though that I'd like to see
know.
an interview to have them talk about, like, they wanted to like flip it so that it's a woman breaking. So the big, you almost gave it away, Tim. With
I know
the woman from True Blood is the
I
second.
didn't want to give
guy.
it away, but yeah, she's like she's the kidnapper. Well,
that-
if you go on IMDb, she's literally named the kidnapper on
really?
IMDb. Yeah.
I'm like, this has to be like an homage.
Oh, totally.
Oh yeah,
but
there's an homage, and then there's just stealing the shot list.
I mean, they were when they were going back and forth with the axe strokes. That's like exactly what.
Yeah, that was a lot. I like a good homage, but god damn, that was a lot.
Yeah, that was like Vince Vaughn remake of Psycho, shot for shot.
It was like Quentin Tarantino, like with all of his like homages, you know, where it's like basically shot for shot from like old kung fu movies that he liked.
When the kid's first in the bathroom and she starts axing the door, I was like, wow, this is really like The Shining. And then when she reached in and he cuts her hand, I'm like, whoa, this is really like The Shining.
Mm-hmm.
Even before she's chopping the door and he's doing the Shelley Duvall screaming with the knife.
Yeah. And then the axe hitting the door and the camera following. I was like, guys, this is a lot. This is a lot.
Well, like at first I'm like, what are you doing? And then finally I'm like, oh, they're not even like shy about that. This is like they just purposely put in a remake of the.
Yeah. Yep. It'd be like if my next book, I'm just going to take a chapter from Tim's and just put it on.
What is it? Control C.
Yep. Yep.
Your next book, a giant shark comes towards a big glass window.
Yeah. Like it's an homage.
I should have done that in Sharkwater Beach.
Yeah,
or Wormwood.
Yeah.
I was glad you brought that up. I almost forgot somehow, but that kind of took me back a little bit. I'm like, why is this happening? I mean, it looks great, but that's because it's a Kubrick thing.
And then right at the end, I understand the woman gets a shot off and hits the kid in the leg. And that forces him to need the help of the kid that he has rescued.
Mm-hmm.
So I get why he needed to get hurt there. But I felt like a kid getting shot in the leg like that that's almost where they lost me. I was like, you know, couldn't he have hurt himself some other way? Because getting hit with a bullet, especially when you're that small.
Yeah, it's pretty devastating.
But again, like it wasn't a showstopper. It was just like like, okay, roll with it. Everybody gets grazed by bullets in movies, so we'll roll with it. But
no, I was with you. I was like, oh, getting shot, that's rough. And he handled it pretty well.
Also with the was he wearing a shock collar at one point too? The
other kid was wearing a shock collar.
Like, dude, that was brutal. I was like, oh god. But then he gets his revenge later, which I thought was pretty cool. It's like, how do you like it? And he's like shocking the lady.
The stuff in the car I thought was all really well done.
The cop car, yeah, I thought that was cool.
She can't break the window because it's a cop car.
Yeah, I like the cop stuff too. But like the one thing with that, so like after the cop got it, like weren't they calling him on the like on the radio and like he wasn't answering? And then
when he was going through the house, was he? I don't remember.
I think they were, and then it was like, wouldn't you send for backup after that point? Like, I feel like a lot of time passed between that and like the conclusion of the movie.
No, I was wondering that too. Like, but I also don't know where they were. I don't know like what their protocols are. But it seemed like a long time. It
was like a long time. It was like there's nobody else coming to back this guy up. He just went out into this house like. It never reported back with what I don't know. I'm not a cop, but I assume that they like report back and like safety protocols would be in place. I feel. I don't know.
I couldn't say on that.
The number one thing in this movie though that I can't even have suspension of disbelief on this. The kid cleaned up all the blood from the first guy that he stabbed with like 2 towels
Yeah.
in like a half hour.
A lot of blood too. There was a lot of.
There was a
blood.
lot.
I'm like, if that happened in your kitchen, you would not get that stain out like ever.
You'd be replacing the tile. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially in the grout. It's not getting out of the grout.
Like,
Yeah.
I was like, I wish they had done like less blood or something.
Yeah, exactly. That would have been the fix, right? You just don't have them bleed that much.
It looked cool though. Visually, I thought it was cool.
The struggle of the kid to move him and all that, like that was all done really well. But cleaning up the blood, I was like, that was remarkably easy.
His showdown with that first guy was awesome.
Fantastic. Yep.
Yeah. He throws the water in a guy's face and it's cold water.
That was awesome. Even the kid trying to help his friend get out, and he's like, oh, maybe I can pick the lock with this knife, and the handle breaks off. That was all well done. But then when the kid grabs the knife handle, I'm like, okay, I was dumb, but I wasn't that stupid.
But I know kids who were that dumb.
Well, there you go. That's what I was saying. I think if you can let go a lot of the kid decisions, you'll enjoy this movie more. My wife was struggling with it a little bit, but she was a girl, so she wasn't stupid.
When that woman turned out to be a woman.
I was completely surprised by that. I knew I thought I knew when the hand reached in, it didn't look like a man's giant ass hand, but I thought that made it way creepier because women are almost never involved in crimes like this. It's always some weird ass dude who lived with his mom too long. So to see it's like a middle-aged woman, I thought was a brilliant piece of writing.
One thing, like, I don't know if I just completely missed it. Like, what was the purpose of them kidnapping these kids?
Well, she got money from the first guy, the guy who came in that the boy killed. They exchanged.
Oh,
He gave him money, and she gave him the watch with the timer on it. So she was clearly selling them. It's like some kind of sex trafficking thing.
Gotcha. All right.
And there was a camera set up in there and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
that's cool.
It was creepy. Creepy stuff.
Creepy.
Yeah. Anything else?
I was just gonna say, like, the one thing I liked, like, visually was like the last shot of the movie with them, like, at the beach, and like it was just like there was no dialogue at all, but like you could just tell like they survived and like things were gonna be okay, and like they were just like having fun. They were like kids again. Just like stuff like that throughout the movie, I thought was pretty cool, like how they did it visually. Yeah,
that was good. The other thing is, you mentioned the woman from True Blood. It took me a little while to figure out who she was. I'm like, who is that? Who is that?
I know. I did the same thing. I was like, she looks so familiar. Like, what do I know her from? And I had to look it up to see to like verify that was her.
Once I figured out who it was, I was like, oh, that is great casting. She was great in True Blood, and she had that edge to her in that.
Yeah. She was amazing in True Blood. She was like one of my favorite characters.
And she was great in this. Like, she's a great bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that just reminded me. The thumb scene. I was like,
yes.
Oh, all around. The thumb getting severed, it being stuck in his gunshot wound. Like, that whole thing was, damn.
Yeah, that was a good little climax to the movie.
Yeah. Good stuff. Well done. Well, you guys have anything else before we get out of here?
I'm good.
That's it for me. Thumbs up. Yeah.
Thoroughly enjoyed this. This is another great little Shudder movie that they've been killing it lately.
Yeah.
Most of the stuff I've liked in the genre has come from Shudder lately.
True.
Good shit. All right. We have no idea what we're doing next week.
Do we ever?
Probably let everyone know the day before, as usual. But outstanding. Maybe Hunter Shea will be back. We'll see.
Hopefully.
And catch everyone later.
See you guys.
Bye.
Game over, man.